Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble news channel. It might not look like it, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, we can see some growth on these Bitcoin charts. And most of those progressions come from the short run. A design for the short term is being made now. I would say it's a major because of this trend. Let's be clear about that. If it breaks down, it would mean that it broke through a big ascending support line that goes back to 2018. Even more important, it would mean a break from the RSI support zone on the weekly chart that goes back to 2018. There is a very good chance that the whole crypto market will fall even more, possibly into a bear market, if we break back down. Interestingly, a lot is riding on this descending wedge shape on the hourly chart. It's not a descending wedge formation on an hourly chart. That's just the time frame I'm looking at it on. But it is a descending wedge formation that started on August 19th, and it will probably reach a breakout in the next 24 hours. The highest point is probably around September 9th, but let's see how long we can just range here. For me, it's within 24 hours, maybe 30 hours. As I just said, this is very important because we can't afford to break up this wedge shape. In this case, if we break down, we'll do so from these support zones right on top of the wedge's base. Another thing that will happen is that we will break down from the RSI on the weekly chart. This will cause a big move in one way. Now I'm going to go into a little more detail about all of this, but honestly, that's all you need to know. I'm only going to do that so you fully understand what a move to the downside would mean and why it's so important for Bitcoin to break up right away. The short-term TA is now on our side, which is good news. If I were to say I have high hopes, I would be lying. But I am cautiously hopeful. However, let's not get too excited until that channel breaks. For now, I'm going to get right to it. By the way, this is going to be a short one today. Before we start, the Bytunix and BingX platforms are two that you need to be on, or at least one of them. Pick one. If you sign up through one of my referral links below, you'll get a 15% discount on all of your trade fees for life. Go ahead and click on that link to sign up. You'll then get a 15% discount on your trading fees and be able to use a global, non-KYC exchange that has never been hacked. The trading fees are already very low, and the discount from the referral link will make them even lower. So choose between Bytunix and Bings. Both are good. Use the links below. Let's get to the stuff. I don't want to bore you now. In the last 2 weeks, I've done this about 15 times. I'm just going to talk about this weekly chart, right? I want to be clear. Now is the time for everyone in this market to pay attention. A number of things. As the plague of doubt and the plague of consolidation spread, they should keep an eye on how the macroeconomy changes. After all, it is the macroeconomy that is causing these problems. It's the worry about a bank run. About half of people think there will be a slump. A half of the people who answer think that quantitative easing and inflation will happen. I talked a lot about that in my movie from 2 days ago. If you're interested, go look at that. That's not what I want to talk about today. Today I'm going to talk about charts, right? Without a doubt, the second thing is the Bitcoin weekly picture, right? Right now, the weekly report on Bitcoin is the most important thing to keep an eye on. Now, why does that happen? Okay, I'll tell you why. One of the best ways to see the big picture is to look at a weekly chart of Bitcoin. This will show you the descending channel shape. In addition, the weekly chart is one of the best ways to find the rising support line that goes back to 2018 and goes through some very big price changes to get us to where we are now. It shut down a daily candle right on top of that line. On August 5th, they were there. Then there is this support line from November that goes up and is marked at the bottom. This macro pattern, this macro consolidation range is supported by all three of these lines, the bottom of the channel, the two yellow lines, and the red line. It's over if we break those three things. There will be a bear market. Bitcoin doesn't need to break those three things. Either breaking them would cause a bear market, or it would happen when the charts are completely crazy, in which case we can't do anything about it. We can't do anything about things that don't make sense. It does happen sometimes, but most of the time that means a bear market. There's more to this than just the price chart. The price chart, which shows a descending channel shape, doesn't really help us figure out when the price will break out. There is an apex point in a triangle, which means that there is a gathering resistance zone and a support zone coming together. This means that the price moves for a while and then it has to move either up or down because it has nowhere else to go, right? The triangle is shaped like a cone, while a channel is made up of two lines that run parallel to each other and go on forever. That's good news. If we look at the weekly RSI chart, we can see that a triangle has formed. We know for sure that the RSI on the weekly line is very, very important. We can think of three falling resistance lines that have shown up on the RSI weekly chart in the past. One of them broke to the upside, which marked the bottom of the COVID and started a bull market. One of these led to the bottom of the bear market in 2022 and the start of a bull market. One more thing that led to the all-time high and the release of the ETF. No question about it, the weekly chart RSI and the lines that form in the weekly chart RSI are very useful. They usually lead to big choices about the whole world. And guess what? On the weekly RSI chart, you can see a line going back to March 18th and continuing all the way to the point where we are now. This makes a triangle shape with a line of support going down from 2018. And again, making an apex point on September 23rd means that between now and then, we may not make a move on the larger price chart channel formation, but we will make a move on the weekly chart RSI, which will almost certainly have a huge effect on the chances of the price chart channel breaking even to the upside or downside. It's very likely that we will break the channel to the fall if we break this down and go into a downward market. It's likely that we will break the channel to the upside and start a new bull market if we break this to the upside. Just look at how bad things are right now. There isn't much room left. We need to act quickly. That's what I've been saying for the past few days. Right now, everyone is asleep. At the moment, everyone is taking a break from the charts and going to the beach to relax in the sun. But the truth is that you should be glued to your computer screen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, waiting for something big to happen. Now you'll notice that our slides have very large charts on them. This is where we add some new data. Since I know this is just a review, you can see that we are on support here, which means we are on the edge of a cliff and can't go down very far. We can move on to the weekly light close now, but that one ends in 2 days and 11 hours. It's really bad news if we close below that level. That would only happen if the price chart breaks down. So it's not necessarily the over for sure 100% bear market, but it's still very, very bad news because it means a bear market is coming soon, right? So from the weekly picture on our site, where we just send resistance and support lines, we don't see fake outs very often. It does happen, but not very often. Okay, so we now know that we'll be breaking out of this RSI triangle shape probably in a week, probably this week, sometime in a week. We now understand that. Now we can look at the short-term chart to get a better idea of when that might happen and what structures on the price chart will help us guess what will happen there. Also, what we've seen so far and what I've seen in the last couple of hours, really good. The last couple of hours, I was making a short chart of this yesterday. You can kind of skip most of these lines if we show you a more detailed chart of the descending channel formation. This pattern, this falling wedge shape, and this big horizontal green support box are the only things you need to look at. The short-term charts show two very important things. You'll notice that Bitcoin has been fighting for a few days now. It has been battling for its life to hold on to that green support block that is laid out horizontally. Also, you can see that it's been going up and down below it, but it has always been true. Yes, the candle has closed right on top of it. A number of times we actually saw that we went below it for a short time, but we are now back above it. On the drops below it, we were going down to test a huge falling wedge structure, which you can see on this screen in yellow. So I think the falling wedge structure, not the horizontal price range itself, has become the most important thing on the shorter term charts. I'm talking about this box and this horizontal support zone. We've seen the fake outs that touch the descending wedge, which means that the descending wedge is the pattern of authority here. I will be keeping a very close eye on the